Hey everyone, get ready, because today we're diving deep into self-discipline.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a great source to work with, too.
For sure. Someone sent us this YouTube video.
How to Build Self-Discipline audiobook by Martin Meadows.
That's the one. It's from the channel A to Z.
And it seems like our listener is ready to kick those temptations to the curb.
Absolutely. They want to achieve those long-term goals, and we're here to help.
Definitely. We're going to unpack some fascinating insights and actionable advice.
Oh, this video doesn't disappoint. Right off the bat, it says self-discipline isn't about superhuman willpower.
It's about building the right habits.
Exactly. It's about making those positive behaviors automatic.
Like you don't even have to think about them.
You just do it.
The video even mentions this study from University College London.
Oh, yeah. What did they find?
It takes an average of 66 days to form a new habit.
66 days. That's interesting.
Yeah, less than I thought.
Me too. I always assumed it took way longer.
Right, like months and months of struggle.
Totally. But just 66 days, that feels doable.
And think about it.
What?
All the things you do every day without even needing willpower. Brushing your teeth,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
showering, making coffee.
It's true.
Those are all habits.
They just happen naturally.
No willpower needed.
Okay, I'm with you. How do we apply that to other areas?
Where we want to be more disciplined.
Right, exactly.
Well, the video talks about keystone habits.
Keystone habits. Okay, what's that?
Think of it like this. They're habits that trigger positive changes.
In other areas of your life.
Exactly. Like they use the example of regular exercise.
Okay, so if exercise becomes a habit,
It can lead to improvements in other areas too.
like what?
Like your diet, your sleep.
Wow, seriously?
Yeah, even your risk tolerance.
That's fascinating. So one positive habit leads to others.
It's like a ripple effect.
I like that. A domino effect.
Exactly. And they give another example too.
Oh, yeah.
Food journaling.
Okay, so like tracking what you eat.
Yeah, just writing it down
Yeah.
without changing your diet
And that leads to healthier choices.
over time. Yeah,
That's so interesting. It makes you think, what could your keystone habit be?
right. What could have that positive domino effect?
Maybe waking up earlier? Or finally starting meditation?
See? You're already thinking about it.
Okay, so habits are key, but what about willpower? I've always heard it's limited, like a muscle.
Ah, the willpower myth.
The video calls it that.
Yeah, and there's actually research that challenges that idea.
Really? So our willpower isn't actually limited.
Well, it's more complicated than that.
Okay, so tell me, how does it actually work?
Well, studies have shown our belief in our willpower capacity actually influences how much we exert.
Wait, what? So if I believe I have a lot of willpower,
You're more likely to persevere even when things get tough.
that's wild.
Yeah.
So changing my mindset about willpower.
Could actually increase self-discipline.
Mind blown. So it's not just about pushing through. It's about,
Believing you can.
I'm seeing willpower in a whole new light. This is huge.
Right. It ties back to those habits, too. Once something's a habit,
You don't need to rely on willpower as much.
it just happens. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk temptation.
Ooh, yeah, everyone struggles with that.
The video talks about dopamine.
That brain chemical.
Yep, the one associated with pleasure and reward.
Okay, I'm following. So how does dopamine play into this whole self-discipline thing?
Well, it's a double-edged sword.
Meaning?
It motivates us to seek rewards, but it can also derail our goals.
Oh, I see. Like you see that delicious cake,
Your brain screams, eat it.
but you know it'll sabotage your diet.
It's that constant battle.
Instant gratification versus long-term goals.
And the video gives a practical tip for managing those urges.
Okay, lay it on me. How do we resist those tempting distractions?
Recognize your dopamine triggers,
So know what sets me off.
and then make those triggers less accessible.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly. And give yourself time for cravings to fade.
So don't give in immediately.
Often, if you wait, the urge will pass.
It's true. Sometimes I crave a snack, but if I distract myself,
The craving disappears.
gone. It's like magic.
There's even a study that found people choose unhealthy snacks less often
Oh, really?
when they have to wait even a few minutes to get them.
So introducing a delay helps.
Our brains are wired for instant gratification.
But if we can wait just a little...
We make better choices.
Okay, this is making sense. So self-discipline is like...
Training ourselves to delay gratification.
And making choices that align with our goals.
Yes. You got it. But how do we actually train those self-discipline muscles?
Right. The video had some specific techniques, didn't it?
5 to be exact.
5. Okay, hit me.
Meditation, cold showers, fasting,
Ooh, some of those sound intense.
controlling small things, and pushing past fatigue.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack.
They all help you build mental resilience,
And tolerate discomfort for a greater purpose.
like boot camp for your willpower.
Yeah.
But they emphasize starting small.
Okay, good. Because some of those are a little intimidating, like the cold showers.
I hear you. Let's break them down one by one.
Sounds good. Let's start with meditation.
It's all about training your mind to focus,
And resist distractions.
which is key for making good choices.
But meditation's hard. My mind wanders all over the place.
The video says start with just 5 minutes a day
5 minutes. Maybe I could do that.
and gradually increase as you get more comfortable.
Okay, that makes it seem less daunting.
There are guided meditations online too, or apps.
Right, I've seen those. Okay, what about cold showers? I'm terrified to even try.
I get it. They're not for everyone, but they force you to endure discomfort.
For a short time.
Yeah, and it builds mental toughness.
So it's like a mini challenge that prepares you for bigger ones.
Exactly. And honestly, it's only the first few minutes that are rough.
They're making me slightly less scared to try it.
Baby steps. Maybe a 10-second blast of cold water to start.
Okay, I might be able to handle that. What about fasting? Isn't that just for weight loss?
It can be,
Yeah.
but the video presents it as a way to build discipline.
Really? How so?
When you fast, you're choosing to delay gratification,
You're experiencing hunger, but choosing not to give in.
and that strengthens willpower.
So it's like a training ground for making tough choices.
Exactly. Plus, there are other benefits too.
Like what?
Studies show it can improve cardiovascular health
Wow, seriously.
and boost brain function. But, of course, it's not for everyone.
Right, always talk to your doctor before making big dietary changes.
For sure. Okay, next up. Controlling small things.
What does that even mean?
It's about those everyday behaviors.
The things we do on autopilot.
Exactly, like slouching, using filler words, leaving clothes on the floor.
Oh yeah, I'm guilty of all of those.
The idea is by consciously changing those things,
You're exercising self-control.
even in small ways,
So it's like practicing self-discipline throughout the day.
in bite-sized chunks.
I like that. Okay, last one. Pushing past fatigue.
This is about challenging your limits, physically and mentally.
Okay, give me an example.
The video says, our first feeling of fatigue is often more emotional than physical.
So we might be capable of doing more than we think.
Right, by pushing past that initial I'm done feeling.
We discover hidden reserves of strength,
They use the example of exercise.
like pushing yourself to do one more rep.
Even when your muscles are screaming.
It teaches you to power through challenges.
Not just in the gym, but in life too.
Okay, this is all starting to click, but there's still so much more to explore.
Definitely. We've only just scratched the surface.
We've talked about habits, willpower, temptation, those 5 techniques.
And in the next part of our deep dive,
We'll explore the contagious nature of self-discipline.
and those sneaky traps that can sabotage our efforts.
Get ready for some even more insightful takeaways. Okay, we're back. More self-discipline goodness coming your way.
You know, last time we talked about those techniques for building mental toughness.
Those 5.
And I gotta say, I'm feeling inspired.
Me too. But before I go, take a cold shower.
Uh-huh. Maybe ease into it.
Let's talk about the social side of self-discipline.
Oh yeah, the video mentions that.
Something about it being contagious, right?
It says the people we surround ourselves with have a huge impact.
When our habits. Yeah.
Exactly. They even quote Jim Rohn.
Who's that?
He's, well, he said this famous thing.
Oh, yeah.
We are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with.
Wow, that's powerful. It really makes you think.
Right. About the company you keep.
Because if you're hanging out with people who lack discipline,
It's going to be harder to cultivate it yourself.
for sure, it's like they're dragging you down.
Their energy can be contagious in a bad way.
Whereas if you're around driven, disciplined people,
It rubs off on you.
it's like choosing your own self-disciplined cheerleading squad.
I love that analogy.
It's not just about willpower, it's about your environment.
Exactly. The video even mentions the content you consume.
Like books, podcasts, social media.
All that stuff can influence your mindset.
If you're bombarded with messages of instant gratification,
It's hard to stay focused on long-term goals,
true, you need to create an environment that nurtures self-discipline.
both internally and externally.
Okay, I'm with you. But the video also talks about those traps.
The self-discipline traps, yeah.
I've definitely fallen into a few of those.
Me too. Haha. Who hasn't?
So tell me, what are some of the big ones?
Well, first up is temporal discounting.
Okay, break that down for me.
Basically, it means we value immediate rewards more.
Then future rewards.
Exactly, like that marshmallow experiment.
Oh yeah, with the kids.
The kids had to choose one marshmallow now or 2 later.
Most of them couldn't wait, right?
Right. And that tendency to prioritize short-term rewards,
It's ingrained in our brain.
deeply ingrained. So how do we overcome that?
Yeah, how do we value those delayed rewards?
The video has a few suggestions. One is to make future rewards more vivid.
What do you mean?
Like, instead of just thinking about saving money.
Visualize yourself on that dream vacation.
Exactly. Make it real in your mind.
So it's about creating a stronger emotional connection.
To the future outcome.
I like that. Any other strategies?
Oh yeah, another one is pre-committing to your goals.
Pre-committing. How do you do that?
Well, it could be things like setting up automatic savings deductions.
Oh, so you don't even have to think about it.
Exactly. Or signing up for a fitness class in advance.
So you're less likely to back out.
Right. Or even making a public declaration of your intentions.
Oh, so you're accountable to other people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about making it harder to change your mind later.
When that temptation hits.
Exactly.
Oh.
Okay, next trap. I'll wait until I feel like it.
Oh, no, that's me all over.
The procrastination trap.
I'm the queen of procrastination. Seriously, though, how do I stop?
The video says it's important to understand your motivations.
My why, basically.
If you're putting something off, maybe you're not aligned with the goal.
Or it's not that important to you.
Right. They also talk about the power of just starting.
Sometimes that, I guess, the hardest part.
They suggest the 5-minute rule.
A 5-minute rule. What's that?
Commit to doing something for just 5 minutes.
Okay, I can handle 5 minutes.
Tell yourself, I'll work on this for 5 minutes, then I can stop.
But then usually you keep going,
Exactly. You've overcome that initial resistance.
tricking your brain into getting started.
Works like a charm.
Mm.
All right, next trap. False hope syndrome.
What's that one all about?
It's about setting unrealistic expectations.
And then feeling discouraged when you fail.
Right. Like deciding to lose 10 pounds in a week.
That's just not going to happen.
It sets you up for failure.
So set smaller goals instead.
Much better. Celebrate those small wins.
It keeps you motivated.
All right, next up. Decision fatigue.
Decision fatigue. What's that?
Our willpower gets depleted as we make more decisions.
So by the end of the day,
We're more likely to give in to temptation.
oh no, that's scary.
They talk about research on judges.
Judges, what do they have to do with this?
Apparently, judges are more likely to deny parole
When?
at the end of the day when they're tired
So they've made a bunch of decisions already.
and their willpower's drained.
Wow, so even experts aren't immune?
Nope. So the video suggests reducing the number of choices we make
Simplify.
and make important decisions early in the day.
When your willpower's fresh.
Exactly. You can also create routines and habits.
To automate those everyday choices.
Frees up mental space for the big stuff.
Be strategic with your willpower. Love it. Okay, what's next?
This one's a biggie. Stress.
Ugh. Stress is the worst.
It can totally deplete willpower.
And make you more vulnerable to temptation.
Like reaching for comfort food or binge watching TV.
My go-to stress relievers, unfortunately.
The video stresses finding healthy ways to manage stress.
Exercise, meditation, being in nature.
Talking to a therapist, yeah.
Self-care is key.
It builds resilience against those traps.
Okay, we've got a couple more traps to cover, right?
Yep, 2 more. Next one is a combo. Dunning-Kruger effect, restraint bias, and empathy gap.
Whoa, those are some mouthful.
I know, right? Let me break it down.
Please.
Dunning-Kruger is when unskilled people overestimate their abilities.
Okay, I've met a few of those.
Restraint bias is overestimating our ability to control impulses,
An empathy gap is.
having trouble understanding how our emotions will influence us later.
So basically, we think we're better at resisting temptation than we are.
Exactly. They give this funny example.
Oh yeah. What is it?
A guy robbed a bank with lemon juice on his face.
Lemon juice. What for?
He thought it would make him invisible to security cameras.
Oh, no way. Seriously.
Yep, that's Dunning-Kruger in action.
Wow. We can be so blind to our own limitations.
The key is to be humble
Don't be overconfident in your willpower.
and have a backup plan, just in case.
Good advice. All right, what's the final trap?
Status quo bias.
Status quo bias. What's that?
It's the tendency to prefer things to stay the same.
Even if the current situation isn't great.
Right. Like wanting to diet but keeping junk food in the house.
Because you're used to it being there.
It's self-sabotage.
You know what to do, but resist change.
To overcome it, be willing to challenge your assumptions.
And step outside your comfort zone.
Embrace change. Be open to new things.
Okay, I think I'm getting this. We've covered those 5 techniques.
The contagious nature of self-discipline, all those traps.
But we've only scratched the surface, right?
The video has even more tips for building self-discipline,
And making it sustainable.
which is what we'll explore in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, we're back. And we've been talking about all these self-discipline techniques and strategies.
Building those habits, avoiding those traps.
Right, exactly. But I'm thinking,
Mm.
how do we actually make this stick long term?
The million-dollar question.
Because, you start with all this
You're
enthusiasm,
motivated, you're ready to go,
but then life happens.
and that motivation fades.
So how do we stay committed even when things get tough?
Well, the video we've been looking at,
Yeah.
it doesn't explicitly talk about long-term maintenance,
That's interesting.
but I think it gives us a good foundation.
Okay, how so?
It all comes back to understanding those underlying mechanisms,
A self-discipline.
right? The habits, the motivation, the decision-making.
If we master those.
We can create a more resilient approach.
So it's not just about willpower.
Willpower is important, but it's limited.
We've talked about that. Yeah.
It gets depleted, especially when we're stressed or tired.
Or when we've made a ton of decisions already.
Decision fatigue. So if willpower's not enough,
What else can we do?
the video talks about building systems.
Systems.
Yeah, things that automate those positive behaviors,
Oh, I see. So they become more automatic.
like setting reminders, removing temptations.
Okay, I get it. So it's about making it easier to stay on track.
Exactly. And remember those other tips, like setting stakes?
Oh, yeah, to keep yourself accountable.
Putting roadblocks in place to prevent impulsive actions.
And scheduling indulgences so you don't feel deprived.
It's all about creating a personalized toolkit
A self-discipline toolkit. I like that.
and using the right tools for the right situation.
The more we understand about our brains,
The better we can tailor our approach.
find what works for us, make it sustainable.
And remember, it's a journey, not a destination.
There will be ups and downs,
Challenges, setbacks.
but those are just opportunities for growth.
Exactly. Embrace the process.
So listeners, we want to know,
Yeah, what about you?
what strategies do you use to stay motivated?
When that motivation dips, what do you do?
Head over to our social media, let us know.
We're all in this together.
Share your insights, help each other out.
And that's a wrap for this deep dive into self-discipline.
Until next time, stay curious, stay motivated.
And keep those self-discipline muscles strong.